Today I have no fucking clue what I'm doing today. I mean that in the most serious way possible. I'll play the intro. I went into this week with one idea on how things were going, and then it did not turn out the way I wanted it to go. But guess what? I'm still here. You ain't got no sick time. You're gonna go ahead and still work. I got something to prove. That's why I'm here. So long story short, going into this week, I had an idea. I was going to do D for Despicable Me. The thing is, I had a lot of stuff happen this week. Not going to get into it. But at the moment that I was ready to rewatch this movie again, it's not on Peacock. This whole time, Universal, let me just take a moment and talk about this for a second. Universal Studios loves to push down your throat that they own the Minions. That they own Despicable Me. Right? They're doing Minion Land now. I was watching Today's Show the other day, and they're talking about how great this Minion Land is going to be. They got rid of the Shrek 4D ride so that they could put in another theme park ride for this Despicable Me Minion movies, right? I mean, granted, they were talking about how horrible things were going to be after the government shutdown. Families and hardworking Americans aren't going to be able to work for a couple days because the government can't fund shit. But it's okay. Take your kids to Minion Land. Things are going to be perfectly fine. What the is wrong with our world? But yeah, I figured Universal loves pushing down your throat that they own the Minions, but it isn't even on Peacock. It's on Netflix. I don't got a Netflix account. I can't watch my friends' or family members' account because it has to be at their house or they get charged. So at this point, I kind of just rationalized I've seen this movie enough to have an opinion on it. And I know with the Alphabet Superset Challenge that I'm doing, basically each day you talk about a different topic based on a letter, and that you kind of have to stick to a schedule. And next week, it's going to be great. Kind of wish it was this week, where you could just take a break and then go back into it the next week. But the thing is, with this week, I do actually need to make a video with the letter D. The problem is, everything I just told you right there. So at this point, I kind of just have to do it. But I'm happy doing it because at the same time, I'm watching because I don't have a viewfinder on my camera because I'm watching from the mirror to make sure that all this is recording, which is also fun. Yeah, you ever buy a Canon EOS? Make sure you get a one with the viewfinder. Great deal. Black Friday sales are fantastic, but if it happens, it happens. Just keeping that back of your mind. But like I said, you're going to see all of me today. I lost track of what I was saying. Despicable Me. I mean, that's another part of it too. What is there really to say about it? It's just a very safe franchise. I did talk about it before in another video. I also talked about it in another vlog with the Minions movies. You know, Universal has got this cash cow. For years they've been in the animation game for a while, which is interesting because they do have some well-known characters that people do remember, people do talk about, but for some reason they never really had like the reputation to be like Looney Tunes. When you really think about it, they owned one of Walt Disney's first characters, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, for years. Did nothing with them. Same thing with, Woody Woodpecker. Guy is voiced by Mel Blanc, and what are they going to do with that? Barely anything. One roller coaster? You look at the Flash shorts that are on YouTube, they look like shit. But for some reason, Minions, that's the thing that catches on. You could watch that other video where I talk about it, because I ain't got no... Well, I mean, I guess I do have time. I'm talking about Despicable Me, so I kind of have to talk about the Minions. So, let's go ahead and start with that. So, I mean, this movie stars a character named Gru, and, as you can tell, no teleprompter. I'm really just going straight into this, guys. Just completely winging it. But like I said, gotta do what I gotta do. So, in this world, you got villains. You ain't got no superheroes, though. Always found that to be very interesting. No heroes, just villains. So really, this movie should just look like Camden. But it doesn't. You know, you got Gru. He's like the big villain, but he ain't the best villain. And this is kind of the trope you see in most movies, where you got that character who really wants something. He don't know what it is or why he wants it, but he really just wants it, and he feels like it's his life mission to be that way. Yeah, they also allude to the fact that it's his mother and he's got mommy issues, which again, another overused character trope. And that's going to be something I'm going to discuss a little bit later. And I'm going to remember that I'm going to be talking about it later too. Just keep that in the back of my mind too. Is that he's just really hardworking. He's got his little minion helping him out with his tools. He's got a scientist voiced by Russell Brand, who was relevant then, not so much now. That guy's going through a lot of shit at the time I'm making this video. Let me just put that out there. But he's got good intentions. He wants to steal the moon. Because that's just what people do now. They steal famous monuments. He wants to steal the moon. First trailer to this movie, they show Gru stealing the pyramids. Oh, actually, no, it wasn't Gru. It was actually the other guy that I'm going to talk about that kind of looks like me, which is a whole nother thing. But yeah, somehow he steals 3 kids, or kidnaps 3 kids, in order for him to do this scheme in order to sell the cookies, because the guy who wants to also steal the moon, who looks like me, really likes cookies for some reason, and they got little robot cookies. Earlier drafts of the film, the minions were supposed to be the robots, but then they decided to just make them the minions, and I guess that's one of the greatest decisions they've ever made because, cash cow. So now Gru has to learn how to be a dad, and he realizes his true mission in life is to be a father. Like, again, that trope of like someone trying to search for something in order to find himself and realize what he actually wants in life. Totally overdone in animation. Also done really well in a little movie called Soul. I'm probably going to talk about that later on because that movie is probably one of my favorite movies in the last decade. With Despicable Me, it's got that message. It's been done before, but the problem I have with these movies in general is the fact that it's safe. It's not really offensive. Even thinking back to this movie, I'm not really offended. I'm not really tickled or inspired or anything. I mean, no movie's actually gonna tickle your feelings. I think that would be a little up. We don't quite have the technology to do that either. That'd be interesting. You don't have a movie that really inspires you or causes you to do anything different. One scene in particular, when Gru actually does steal the moon, I think is pretty cool looking. And to me, always stuck out years later. Just holding on to that moon is just picturesque moment in animation. But otherwise, there really isn't anything that really sticks with you watching. I mean, I remember watching it all the time, and I'll be able to tell you the story plot by plot because it's just so formulaic. And that's just kind of indicative of like what Illuminations is in general. They're like the New York Rangers of I'm gonna bear with me on this analogy. I've been thinking about this analogy all week. They're like the New York Rangers of the NHL. Great team, great reputation, great stadium, but they've also done some pretty things like pee in the cup. That's an actual thing. Go ahead and look that up. They're the Illumination of the NHL. They're probably not going to win an Academy Award. Maybe they will. Who knows? They might. But for the most part, they ain't Disney. But it's the best we got. And for the best we got, you really just come out with a moderate rating. I know this video seemed really rushed because it is. Just being fully transparent with you. But this is about that challenge I'm really doing for myself. And there are probably going to be weeks like this. Hopefully not. Maybe this is a lesson learned to maybe, pick some more battles or maybe try to challenge yourself in different ways. So hopefully in the next 2 weeks when I make my next video, you'll probably see a little bit more pre-planning, a little bit more intention. So thanks for watching this thing. So I'll be seeing you in 2 weeks. Take care.